welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Yadi, and you're welcome to subscribe if you're new here, please. But as you guys can tell by the title of today's video, I'm gonna be doing a bookstore vlog. The only thing different about this, I'm not sure if you guys can tell by my background, I'm actually not at home. I'm not too far from home. I'm from Chicago, for those of you that don't know, but I'm currently in Wisconsin. But one thing about me, whenever I'm anywhere that's not from home, no matter how luxurious, how close, a neighboring state, out of the country, whatever the case may be, I have to spend money. It's giving shopping addiction, but I never claimed that I didn't have one, so it's giving I'm just a girl. I haven't bought a book in a very, very long time. I love to read. It's one of my favorite hobbies, but I have just been struggling. Like, I've been in a book slump. My physical TBR keeps growing, but I haven't picked up a book. I'm nowhere near my Goodreads goal. But for some reason, if I go into a Barnes & Noble today in a new place and check out their holiday book selection, and if I check out their other book selections, and if I buy books from here, that equals I'm gonna get out of my book reading slump and I'm actually gonna start reading again. So that's essentially what we're gonna be doing today. So I'm bringing you guys along with me to go to the Barnes & Noble. And so I hope you guys enjoy me basically going to go spend money, buy new books. So let's go.
I know these two are really popular, I've just never read them.
Okay, so as you guys can probably tell by the outfit change, it's actually the next day. I never ended up giving you guys an update, but I'm gonna give you guys a little haul of what I got. It's honestly not that much. I at least expected like to buy 5 to 8 books. I only picked out 3, and only one of those were like a holiday selection, holiday Christmassy romance book, because I could just not find like their holiday selection at this Barnes & Noble specifically was just not calling out for me, because there's one specific holiday book that I'm looking for. I think it's called All My Neighbors Stole Christmas or something like that. I really, really want that book. So if I find that book, I'm gonna have 3 Christmas books that I want, because I wanted at least 3, because I'm planning a video with those books later on in the month of December. But I'm gonna show you guys the books that I got now. I bought 1 thriller, 1 fantasy, and 1 holiday book. So the first book that I got is Sometimes I Lie by Alice Finney. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but essentially this was a random pick. I've never heard about this book before. Usually the books that I buy I've heard about before. And crazy enough, I know this is like an unpopular opinion, I'm one of those book readers where I actually want to know majority of people's opinions on a book before I go into it. I know everyone has their own reading style, but I feel like that wasn't me until this year, just because I've had such a bad reading year. When I tell you guys I've spent hundreds of dollars on books and have just really not enjoyed them, and then when I search up reviews on them, they're not that great. And for some reason, like, that just made me want to start looking into reviews, which I never used to want to do that before this year, just so that I can have those reviews and like think about whether or not the book is worth it, because I've just spent so much money on books this year and have not found that many good books, and it's caused me to be in like such a long month reading slump where I'm so behind on my Goodreads goal, 9 books behind to be exact. But this is actually a book that, without knowing anything about it, just reading the back, reading like the first few pages, I found super, super interesting. So I'm really excited. I'm pretty sure as soon as I get back, I'm gonna read this. Right now, I was trying to read Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and it really does have me hooked. I just don't think I'm in a mood for a fantasy, because I just got out of reading Phantasma, which is another fantasy, which I really recommend. I gave that book a 4.5 stars. And so because of that, I just feel like I need to out and venture somewhere else, and my heart is calling for a thriller. So hopefully this is the one to bring me back out of my reading slump. But it says, Amber Reynolds wakes up in a hospital. She can't move, she can't speak, she can't open her eyes. She can hear everyone around her, but they have no idea. Amber doesn't remember what happened to her, but she has a sneaking suspicion her husband had something to do with it. Or her sister, or maybe both. Terrified and trapped inside her own body, she slowly begins to remember a night that changed her life. Is she in a coma due to an accident? Her sister having an affair with her husband? What happened at work with her horrible boss? And who is the person silently visiting her beside each night? Sometimes I Lie is a brilliant psychological thriller that asks, is something really a lie if you believe it's the truth? I don't know about you guys, but that sounded like a great time to me. So I picked it up, and it's not that long, which I feel like is perfect right now. Like I could read at a really fast pace once I'm really into a book. So I'm pretty sure if this is a book that I like, I can finish it in a day and it'll get me out of my reading slump. At least that's what I'm hoping. So this was my first pick. My second pick was One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I've heard so much about this book, and I just said that I'm not in the mood for a fantasy, but I actually have never read fantasies until this year. This year was my first time picking up a fantasy, and it was Phantasma. If you guys haven't read Phantasma, please read it. It's so good. It's basically about our female main character who's a necromancer, and this guy that she's like, it's a romantasy, and they basically have to pass this haunted house, which is a resemblance of the 9 levels of hell. And the person that's helping her actually is a phantom, and only she can see him and sense him because she's a necromancer. I didn't even describe how good that fantasy was, and it got me into fantasy. It's my first book ever that got me into fantasy. So I went online and I was searching up good fantasies, and this one came up more than once. I know this is a series, but one thing about me in series, I only ever pick up the first book, because if I'm not in love with the first book, I would have rather not spent all that coin on like the entire series and just not love it. But I'm grateful that this is a short series, because another series is the Throne of Glass series, which I have the first book, but I haven't picked it up, not because I don't think it's interesting, because I've read the first few pages and I'm like instantly hooked, but that's a really long series, and I just feel like I have to read it all at once. I can't like take a break and go back, or maybe that's just me being delusional. So I haven't picked up that series yet, but I'm hoping I will get to it in 2025. But I picked up this book, which I'm super excited to read. I read the first couple pages, again, was really hooked. So I'm excited to see what the hype about this book is about. The last book that I got, I'm pretty sure everyone knows this book, this cover, this author, Lori Gilmore, and it's always sold out. So once I saw it here and it was like full on stacked of it, I just picked one up. It just made sense. I read the first few pages. It's cute. It looks like funny romance. It's short. Like, what else could I want? And I've heard obviously good things about Lori Gilmore and her other 2 books. And the first thing I read was a small town spicy festive romance. Are you serious? I love Christmas. It is my favorite holiday ever, and like I love December because it's also my birthday, so it's like everything great is in one nice holiday, one nice month. I've never read books that have to do with Christmas before. Like, this is my first year doing this. I just am super excited. It's like reading a Netflix movie. Like, instead of seeing it with your eyes, you're reading it and making your own world in your head. That just seems like such a fun time. And these are the 3 books that I ended up picking up. I'm definitely hoping to add these into my like end of November to December TBR. I'm 9 books behind on my Goodreads goal. I feel like it's because every book I picked up since the beginning of the year, I was like forcing myself to get through it, because I just didn't believe in DNFing books, because I'm spending my hard-earned money on those books, which means I have to finish those books even though I don't like them. And after forcing myself to get through so many like 2-star, 3-star books, I just couldn't anymore. I was not enjoying reading. I was DNFing books, and then at some point I just stopped reading. But I kept buying books, and then I went on a book buying ban, and then I read The 7-Year Slip and Phantasma in October, fell in love with it, and then they were such good books that they put me in a reading slump again. I'm really hoping that these 3 books get me out of this reading slump and are the start to getting those 9 books that I need to reach down to 6 books. But that was basically everything. It was super fun. I will say that the Barnes & Noble here in Wisconsin is huge. Although there was one book that I really wanted that I could not find, and that is this book right here. It is The Shadow Between Us by Levenseller. I couldn't find How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. Like, there was some books that I feel like I just couldn't find. It was a huge Barnes & Noble, but their selection was quite limited, I will say. But nonetheless, I enjoyed book shopping for the first time in a really long time, and just actually sitting down in Barnes & Noble. They had a Starbucks in there. People were getting their coffees and just sitting down and reading books. It felt good to go to an actual bookstore for the first time in a very long time, because usually I just go to like Target or Walmart, so it was nice to actually have like that book shopping experience again, and I love books. Like, what can I say? Like, I know I'm in a reading slump, but I really enjoy reading, and I really hope I can have a better reading year for 2025. So if you have any book recommendations that are like 5-star reads, 4-star reads, or like just books that you love, that you rave about, please drop them down in the comments below, because I am preparing for 2025. Like, every book that someone's recommending anywhere, I'm writing it down, I'm researching it, and I'm adding it to the cart, because I need to have a better 2025 reading year, because I'm increasing my Goodreads goal to 50. But I hope you guys enjoyed that whole book shopping experience. I know I've yapped a lot, but that was basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.